What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Deonte Burden, host of Change Your Lives. Just do a quick live feed during it today. Just wanted how to get a couple things together. This stuff was already set on here, but it's not. Right now, we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And what I want to discuss was I had a conversation with a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and I know him a week ago rather. And I know I'm late with this, but it was in regards to our brother Nick Cannon, in regards to, the young man, great. He celebrated the birth of one of his newborn child. I think it's his 12th child. And the first thing that came out of a friend of mine's mouth was, that's too many kids. So that's just too damn many. And my whole thing was, I didn't see the damn problem with it. The man seemed happy. Everybody involved seemed happy. So I'm trying to figure out why the hell anybody else would be bothered by it. But I want to have that discussion because my question immediately is, why is that a problem? Why is it a problem? He's having his 12th child. Like, that's too many. He can't raise this. He can't do this. He can't do that. And I mean, by all counts and purposes, I don't know the young man. I don't know the brother, anything, but everybody seemed pretty damn cool to me. And I just would wonder what would make somebody, be judgmental in regards to that. So that's why I want to have a discussion today. We're going to be talking about what is too many. Again, right now, I am Deonte Burden to Change Your Lives. We'll stream live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Again, we ask the question, how many kids is too many? I see on the actual TikTok, I spelled many wrong, but I apologize. It is how many is too many. As far as children concerned, what I think back of it is when I look at my grandparents. And I think a lot of times people look back at probably their grandparents or even grandparents before that. It was nothing uncommon, especially coming from the South, for families to have 10 kids wasn't absurd. Especially we started talking about definitely over 5 to be doing it, because I think it was kind of customary for the more children you had. Because I remember my grandparents actually did pick cotton with my great grandparents. They were sharecropping in the field. And, the more kids you had, the more help you had to go work in the field. That was a thought process back then. And even then, some people even still had, even when they necessarily in the field, even when people moved up north, other kids could help with the bills and, pay certain things and do certain things. Oh, Lord. Don't do that. So it wasn't uncommon to have, these big families. But I understand, we go fast forward to the future. Cost of living is higher. People's perspectives and everything change in regards to having children. So the number of children people are producing, mainly because I think probably because of the cost, that changed. Even though you have a lot of different family dynamics, a lot of people are having children out of wedlock. People are waiting later in life to have kids, because they may take care of their careers on the front end and decide later in regards to, when they will want to have children. So I understand the perspective change. But when I was looking at the brother, and we were talking about Nick Cannon in regards to, just having a 12th child, there was, so many in response to like, hey, this is too many. And what I want to have discussion, because far too often, people put their situations on other people. They look at it and say, okay, well, that's too many for me. I don't see how he does, how can he be involved with all the kids if it's so many? I don't think that would be a discussion for anybody if they feel like that they can handle what they have. Because, I have 4 sons and I'm actively involved and I've been actively involved with all my children. I have 2 adults now that are adults now, and there's never been an issue. When I was younger, I was one of those people, man, I want 5 or 6 kids and I want all these boys. And, fortunately me, I did have all sons with that said. So that worked out great. Let me try to adjust this camera. I'm sorry. That worked out great for me. But I never felt like, okay, I was stretched in with the amount of kids I had. But again, that was cool for me, right? But when I look at other people that have the kids, I never look at it like from a judgmental standpoint. They can't handle it. They can't raise the kids. They can't be there for their kids. I don't even want that headache. I think if a person's having children that they're not dealing with or they're not active with for whatever reason, because they don't want to be in a situation, they're too busy, things happen. I get it. Then that can maybe a point of discussion. But if a person is having them, regardless if they're married to it with a person or not, and I want you guys feel free to chime in with your comments, your opinions, and everything. Please feel it. Give me your opinions on it. But if a person is, even if not with that particular person, the man and woman not together, but they have an arrangement how taking care of the kids, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. One thing about Nick Cannon ain't broke. And, it just seems like now he may be stretched in other places. We can't be, with all of them at the same time. But again, I think that's just probably a dynamic a lot of people have created with themselves. Because just because you're in the household with your child doesn't mean you're always going to be with them. And I just think that sometimes people got, probably unfavorable situations because they may have had children with somebody that they probably shouldn't have had children with. That be the man or the woman, whoever it be. And because things ain't going in a certain direction, they have a certain opinion in regards to what they think, should or shouldn't be the way of things going. Especially like when you have when you're not in a good situation, you have a desire for things to be a certain way. You want a kid, just say if the father is not around, not being active, or the mother's not being participative, we all kind of think, this is the way it should be because our way is in a certain way. Then we see somebody doing something like what Nick Cannon doing is just having all these kids. Brother say he like having a lot of kids. But like I said, from the outside looking in, it seems like he's taking care of them financially. Could he be there with all of them at the same time? Unless you're a damn magician. But again, what I always kind of look at it is, and you're talking from a person that's been a mentor of young men over 20 years, of young people, period. You got a 50-50 chance of having a good daddy. You got a 50-50 chance of having a good daddy. So just if your daddy there or not in the house with you, you don't necessarily know how that's going to turn out. We got Latavia Morgan. What's going on now? Happy New Year to you, lady. It ain't an issue. He can afford all his kids. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I just think when I brought that up, the point that was brought back up to me, he's not going to have time to be with all his kids. And my thing is, who the hell always have time to be with all their kids? I'm just saying, I got 4, or even just if you had 1, depending where, you may be in your career, lifestyle, whatever, you can put your kids first. You love your kids. But who's to say that by doing this, that, and that for your child, that makes you, a good parent? I just think so many things are subject to, personal opinions. People don't want to necessarily get into that dynamic, but that's one of the things I was just wondering about. I was it was a radio interview with Akon. I should have had that to the side. I apologize. Next time it was not a radio interview. It was a video interview they had with Akon. He was interviewing with a young lady. I think she was a British rapper, British interviewer and everything. Appreciate it. Happy New Year. And she was interviewing Akon, and he was talking about, all of his kids that he had. And the young lady said, when would he have times, you will miss recitals and stuff. He said, those are white folk stuff. I don't need to be there. I just need to make sure that they're good financially. And he was just giving his spiel on it. And so, yeah, so many people giving their opinions on it. I can't say the man right or wrong. I just say the way he gets down, the way he gets down. I've seen various ends of the spectrum. I've seen guys that are with their kids all the time, give them 300%, and I've seen guys that have hardly been with their kids, but they may have been hard working and doing certain things, make sure they had what they had, and the kids turn out all kind of different damn ways. You got somebody that has a great hands-on, all intents and purposes parent, and a kid that can damn fool, and then you got a kid that parents, not necessarily the bad parents, is business. They may be trying to take care, make certain things happen for them, and they turned out fantastic, but they weren't there to give a lot of guidance in regards to the child. So it's, I don't necessarily know if it's a right way to go about it, but people always seem to have an opinion about it regardless. And, this is the way people should move with their children. I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in that at all. You guys let me know, what do you guys think in regards to, what, if there's a number, as far as kids, I think the barometer, number one, come up, just say, okay, can they afford to have them? Okay, just say we take that out. You can afford to have a kid, right? Because, again, I'm pretty sure that brother does. Now, he can probably afford financially to take care of the kids he have. I guess the next issue comes up is time wise. Time wise, what can he be able to allocate to the kids? Now, that's where it probably gets a little tricky because that goes back to personal opinion. You know, some some people can look at it like, okay, this is the type of dad he teaching the kids, how to ride a bike, how to catch a ball, going to daddy daughter dances and all that other kind of stuff. But shit, I don't know if every kid need or want that to do that. I don't know. You can have. I was a product of teenage parents, so pretty much if you're a product of teenage parents, you're mostly raised by your grandparents. So my grandfather, especially the one that I lived with, my maternal grandfather was very, very, very influential in raising me. But he was straight old school. He ain't even no hugging, no kissing, no "I love you, boy." I mean, shit, compliments. That oh boy, they were ooh Lord. I can remember. I can remember when the times that my grandfather hugged me. I can remember the few times that my grandfather told me he was proud of me. Now I know he always was, but it's just that era of men, and I can't say it was wrong or what they do. That's just how they got down. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, we never went to bed hungry. We always had the stuff on. If utilities went off, they were just off for a couple hours till he got everything straightened out. But there was a lot of love in the house, but it was never compassion and all this other kind of stuff. And I think the things that I didn't get, I probably have, been able to give it to my sons. But I don't necessarily know. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's the best way to be. That's just me probably giving some stuff that I wanted to have. But again, me not having it, I don't think it did any damage or anything. And that's why sometimes when we look at what another person is doing with their children, we think that what we want or we don't have is the right way. Or if we did have and we turned out okay, that's the proper way to do it. I think at the end of the day, the end game is you be able to raise a good, productive citizen. They can grow up and take care of their family, work, just have a positive impact on society. That's about it. But outside of that, man, just to say this is the way a father should do it, this is the way a mother should do it, I don't really get too tough into that. And I just think right now, especially, statistically, there aren't that many two-parent houses. We look at 70, maybe 80% right now of the black community children born out of wedlock. Now it doesn't mean that the father isn't involved. We're talking about just mom and dad not married in the same household with doing it. And so again, you have a rainbow of different dynamics that house may be operating in. Who's to sit here and say what's right? Because it is what it is. What you have is what you have, right? That's it, period. It's not going to change in regards to, we need, more men in the house. We need it. What you have is what you have, right? I'm divorced. And my two younger sons, two are grown, and two younger sons live with me. My situation is my situation. So I can't change that. I can't change in regards to the availability that, when my kids are with my ex-wife or when they live with me during the week and stuff, that can't be changed. So, it is what it is, what you have. So it's not, I think to try to shift it there and to say, okay, but listen, that brother needs to be with his kids all the time to be able to make a good impact. That ain't the situation. So you right now to sit here and say, okay, in a perfect world, mom and dad need to be in the household together, or so many hours with mama and so many hours with dad, it would be the best formula. Shit, I mean, that's just not an option. That's just not going to be an option most of the times with that. So it is what it is, what you have to deal with when we start talking about that. So again, we're talking about, the situation with brother Nick Campbell. I'm asking, how many kids is too many? Because that was one of the things that brought me, like, that's too many kids. He had 12 kids, and he seemed pretty damn happy. And again, it may be a scene. The proper stress he have, probably want to be with his kids all the time, or maybe got, sometimes some situation might bump head with one of his kids' mothers and stuff like that. But hell, that's natural stuff. But I really, really don't believe that if a man can be impactful on his children, and that impactful word is real is one of them gray words, because that goes to the public opinion, because my terms of impactful is just being able to teach your kids things having some kind of effect on how they develop and grow. Some people impactful is how much money you can pay for them, or make sure that they cover from a cost perspective. I didn't grow up with money, so I don't necessarily know what the hell money could do um, as far as impacting the child. My kids been a lot more comfortable with me growing up. I was able to give them a lot more opportunity than I had, but I'm kind of like an Shaquille O'Neal way of thinking. Anybody know me? My money, my damn money. I ain't too big on just telling my kids we got this, we got that, I got that, and that's how I've always rolled. But uh, again, we start talking about the actual impact that actual parent can have with their children. It's great. It's great because your situation is still your situation. If you're in a situation where mom and dad married, but mom and dad, have to work a lot because we have to do these certain things, you can't really change that. The easiest thing is to go and say, well, listen, you shouldn't have had the kids. And if you couldn't afford it at that particular point in time, you might not necessarily thinking about that, or decision or stuff happens, and I get it. But when we start looking at too many, I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. I have no interest or desire to have any more children, or even, be honest with you, bringing in more children, that being stepchildren or anybody around me. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm not really with doing it. I do anything on some unk, papa, coach status, but bring something new into the mix. I'm not really interested in doing that, because I know the actual commitment I've had with my children, especially from a time perspective. I'm cool with being uncle and granddaddy, and I retired from coaching, so I ain't really too keen on doing that. But I don't know about stepdaddy, with doing it. But that's me saying that with just a clear mind. If a man is out there, he say, okay, listen, I want to have some more kids. I want to be fruitful and everything like that. The only thing that I can just give, my personal opinion, I don't think it's real opinion, I think it's a fact, is that when you have children out of wedlock, you have no control on how the other parent is going to react as the years go along. You really don't. And I think that's the issue that comes on with that. But I mean, somebody can act a damn nut if you're married. You can be married and together, and they still can act a certain kind of way. But I think that's the part that that may not be thought about as light. And what I mean by that is, as a man, my child's mother, she can actually get jealous of my current situation. She can remarry or find somebody and they act a certain way with the child, good or bad, possessive, don't want to deal with my child. People can have different things as far as they can have lifestyle changes in regards to how they want to move on and do certain things, and even with the actual whole availability of you to your child, them to your child, all that kind of stuff. Those kind of things I don't think personally get thought about enough. I think a lot of times the actual probably the part probably with Nick kind of probably has control the actual financial piece. I can afford to have this child. I can afford to take care of. And I think that's one of the things, when you look at a brother like Nick Cannon, he can afford to take care of his kids. Now again, the other stuff you can't control, how they're going to be a certain way and when they're not around you. And that was one of the frightening things about me when I went through my divorce. Like, I knew I had to be around my boys a lot because I felt like I could fix problems with them the best. And that's not a knock on my ex-wife, but I don't believe I'm the only one feeling that way. But I felt like it was very, very important when things go wrong from them from a behavior standpoint, maybe actually needing some things, they're probably best around, they're around daddy. Now that was just my situation. But and like I said again, that's not a knock on her. I just felt like I could be more impactful from that standpoint. And I don't think it's been a problem, to be honest with you. But that varies from person to person and relationship to relationship. Sometimes it can be both of them can be just as impactful. Sometimes, one can be more than the other, and you just don't know that. And I do think that's one of the things that you encounter when kids in two different households, because again, everybody's gonna function and move different. But the thing with that said, going back to the discussion we're having right now, shit, that can be one child. That could be one child. That don't necessarily have anything to do with the number of doing it. But I will say, the more you add to the mix, the more you do have to be spread out with doing that. So again, I want to have that discussion with you guys in regards to how many is too many, because people have a lot of opinions. And I probably do another live feed later on in regards to try to have this discussion. But I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having multiple. If you feel like you can, and it's a you call. You can be around your kids all the time. Hey, and again, I don't even know exactly the time dynamic Master P had with Romeo, but I was sitting there looking at. I did a video about it the other day. Like, pretty much done grew up before our eyes, and every time you turn around, the man got the son, and always talking about this my little CEO. We building generational wealth, and man, yeah, Pete talking about that all the damn time. This is for my grandkids. Shit, let the kids tell that. Shit, that ain't even got that for them. Let the kids tell it. That's all I hear Master P say. Yeah, this is for my children's children. My great grandchildren gonna have a legacy. Shit, Romeo saying I ain't even got a damn dollar. Damn, my kids. So, and I understand everybody got an opinion, in regards to that. I'm talking about that family. What happened, what money went, and things like that. But I only say that to say, shit, that's a good example. You can be sitting there playing that role like, look, I'm active, I'm hands-on, I'm the father, I'm building this, and shit still don't go right? And you could be very, much, I won't say distance, but not necessarily around as much, because you may be providing a certain lifestyle, be it good, whatever, however stable, but you may be busy, not be there, as much as you would like to be. And your kids turn out all right, because, again, may not necessarily be that they understand, but it's just a simple fact that, um, we as always as parents get too much credit when they turn out okay. We damn sure get too much blame when things turn out probably bad. But I'm not a big believer in like somebody having too many. Now again, let's say if you have X amount of kids and they're all hungry, they all can't do this, that's a totally different conversation. When you can't actually financially take care of your kids, again, taking out consideration, anything catastrophic happens. You lose your job, you get sick, you can go through any kind of life-changing event, moving, divorce. I can see it happen. I mean, I've been through a damn divorce, and I can see how things can financially change, whatever. I mean, God bless me, I didn't really go through too big of hang-ups, as far as my transition with doing it, but I definitely can see how that happens. But let's just say you just being, unresponsible, and you just make a baby here, make a baby there, make a baby here, or getting pregnant by this person, that person, they can't really do anything. Like, hell, really, this conversation really not for you. Again, because at the end of the day, if you make something that you can't do, that's one of the things. I always say that I've never been a proponent of getting on deadbeat dads, because me personally, I don't feel men get sorry overnight. I think people, if they sorry, they sorry. And I kind of look at the same way a deadbeat dad as well a deadbeat mom. If you know that this person is not responsible, they're actually doing things they ain't supposed to be doing, they're not reliable, whatever, and you choose to lay up with them, and you have a baby with them, and things don't turn out right and stuff like that, that's on your ass. That's if you ask your child's father or if your child's mother. You say, well, my son's father, he don't work, he don't do this, he just want to do this, that, and that. Or you say, my daughter's mother, she just want to strip, she want to sell this, she want to do all that kind of stuff. Typically, they were like that before then. But maybe they were fun, maybe they were freaky, maybe whatever. You didn't choose to see it. That's on that. Or you didn't feel like, okay, you're gonna get caught up in a certain thing. But I don't believe people get sorry overnight. I don't believe that. I think sometimes people have a hard time transitioning to do two different things. When you go from not having a kid to having a kid, now you have to make those adjustments in regards to this new liability with feeding them, daycare, clothing them, and things like that. Sometimes that can be a difficult transition. Sometimes people, I've heard, sometimes where you hear like somebody will say, "Well, listen, my child's father, my child's mother, they can't do anything. They're not helping." That ain't guaranteed that everybody gonna be financially in a position, because a lot of times we can go into it and say, listen, I want to provide these particular things for my kid. I want to make sure that they have these certain things, but then you got something called reality. Shit, I ain't no daycare gonna cost that much. You baby drink that much milk, and everything. You rather go out there and buy a damn cow, or because then you try to breastfeed and all that kind of stuff, and baby done sucked everything out of you and stuff. You can't find enough damn milk. And those kind of things happen. Like, damn, how much you actually piss this much to pamper that? Those things happen. And once you get into it, hell, it's too late. And you may or may not be able to adjust to it, And that happens a lot. Usually as you may get another child, you get a little experience and things like that. If it can kind of fall into play the way you want to, you can say, okay, well, listen, I understand how those changes happen financially, how they can impact you and affect you. I get that part. But most of the times, it's like a learning curve you got to get through once you first have children, right? A lot of times you just don't go into it knowing everything. But that's why when I hear those terms like, this guy here's a deadbeat dad, or this mom deadbeat, I really truly don't believe most of them get sorry overnight. Now, I think sometimes when people have breakups, they tend to maybe go in a different direction because they don't have that commitment with the other person, because I'm not with you no more. I'm not be dealing with a kid or whatever. I get that part. I get that part, and everything is wrong as hell, but I can see that happening because, two people together, now they're not together. They don't want to do that. But typically, those signs, if a person just with you and they not with you to build something, have a child with you, they still that same kind of way. I can understand the other side of it is when people have kids, especially, females have it. The guy doesn't want the kid. The female want to have the kid. And this guy's not responsive to the kid as he should be. The moral thing is to say, well, the kid didn't have to be born. You should do that. But the realistic thing is, if this person say they didn't want to have no damn kid, and you go along and have a damn kid, you can't make nobody want. Even if you make them legally sit there and pay for it, but they don't want to spend no time with it. They told you they wouldn't. And that's kind of one of the things you got to deal with. You can't, I don't think a person can get upset with it. You can be bothered and call them names, but if they told you I didn't want to do this and you went along and did it, you got to deal with it. You got to live with it. And I'm a firm believer in that. Did the child ask to be born or anything like that? Is it fair to make them suffer because somebody didn't agree to it? I don't know if it's a fair issue. It is. It's more of it is what it is issue, and I think that's exactly how you have to look at that. I understand personally. I kind of look at it in regards to co-signing on the loan. If I co-sign on a loan for any one of my children, I take the responsibility that if they default or if they decide they don't want, to making the payments for it, I'm going to get stuck with the loan. And I think that's the kind of thing you got to look at it when you have children with somebody. And that can be even when you're married with them. Like, listen, if this thing don't go right, I can get stuck with it, especially if you're a female. If this person decides they don't want to stick with this thing and they don't want to continue with it, I'm going to be stuck with it. And I think that's if people can get out of that right or wrong, fair or unfair shit and just look at it like, listen, if me and this person split today, can I handle this baby? If you look at it from that perspective, I think people will make wiser decisions. But because people don't want to look at it and just say, well, he's supposed to do that, she's supposed to do that. No, hell no. And I look at that because, like I said, I can just, if it's something that my kids, and I love my children, everybody knows that, but if it's something my kids say, well, look, hey, Dad, if you can't co-sign for that, I just co-signed for apartment with one of my sons. Extremely responsible young man. Couldn't ask for a better son. Been on his own, don't ask me for $1. Wasn't a problem for me to do it. But I know in the back of my mind, if something happened, he can't pay it, that I can stick with it. But the reason why I can do that because he's so thorough, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it because the young man don't ask me for nothing. He don't give me a problem. He showed me because I'm looking from the sideline. He been on his own for the past couple years. Don't ask me for nothing. He just had to have a co-signer. I don't mind because he makes enough money and most importantly, he's responsible enough. When we start talking about these babies and kids, we're doing it. I ain't the biggest proponent on it. And to be honest with you, I ain't got no problem saying I wouldn't do that shit for every one of my damn children. You got to show me something. I'm not finna lie to you and say that I would do that particular thing with all my kids. You know, if I can see, okay, yeah, they're going to be responsible, be reliable, and I don't have to worry about it, one mind doing it. Anything can happen. But again, I put myself in a situation because I felt that certain way. That does not mean things can't change, you know, in regards to that. But that's also what they said. That goes back to when we're looking at situation like what's going on with brother Nick Cannon. I don't necessarily know the young ladies look at it like that. I think a lot of times it's just that because he seems so secure, it's like a given. He can be able to take care of them. Excuse me. And I think people can actually, even people that you know in our discussion right now, they might be looking at it like he can afford to take care of and have no damn idea if Nick Cannon broke or not. You know, we can sit there and say, well, he has these shows, he has to do these particular things. We just assume. You guys know I'm an accountant by profession, been in the business over 20 years. You have no damn idea what I have seen in my office. People, you sit here and just be like, man, I know you got it. Like, no, you know, because once you come into my world, everything black and white. The numbers are the numbers. So I'm one of few people that actually know what people make and what they don't make, you know, and what people, you know, actually putting out in relation to what they have coming in. So we just assume because that's somebody in the public eye, like, hey, man, they actually okay, they straight with what they have, but you don't know, and I do think that's probably the reason why you probably seeing not too much reluctancy for women giving that brother children, you know, because you know the assumption is there that everything is fine in regards to him being able to take care of his children, but again, like you don't know. And that's one of the things I think that that's one of the things I don't think too much thought goes into. But again, I'm kind of stick to what I was saying in regards to I don't know if there's such thing as too many kids. I don't necessarily know if there's a such thing as that. I just think that that's, you know, case by case basis for each individual, right? I would I can speak for myself personally. I damn sure wouldn't want any more or anything like that, especially this day and age with doing it. But again, I look at them past eras, you know, people that was just a thing. We start looking back at our grandparents and stuff like that. That's how they got down. It was like they always had like, you know, 8 or 9, 10 different siblings. And the parents just made babies. It was nothing for the grandma to go in her 40s still having babies, but starting off a teenager and still being in her 40s, still dropping out babies. And if everybody functioned like that, that was fine. Now, if you have a situation where somebody has X amount of kids and, you know, not around or anything like that, you know, again, like I said, this discussion not for that. We're talking about you're in a situation where you actually can financially take care of them. Again, the actual spend time to be able to go to games, do these particular things, that's up for discussion because household to household, that's going to vary if that's important. That's gonna vary. Some parent, my grandfather, that, you know, again, that's probably the most impactful man in my whole life. He went all my high school football game, track meets, he can't order that. But anything that dealt with school, that probably was more important to me. Graduation and stuff like that. My father's grandfather went to everything, but my grandfather that I lived with, he didn't go to anything as far as graduations, awards, never with any of those. And I always wanted him to. But again, I would say outside of probably my athletic events in high school, he didn't go to anything that I had, and had no damn desire whatsoever to do it. I think I turned out okay, right? With that said, you know, and I think that with a lot of households, people put a lot of weight in certain things. Now, you do have a lot of time people can reflect back, man, if I had this person push me or this person saying something to me, I could have did better and stuff like that. And that might have been the case. But on the flip side of this too, just being a business consultant, I tell people all the time, if you're banking on somebody else supporting your dreams for you to make your dream happen, you really don't want that to happen. All the time right now we put out the videos on Mr. Short Dollar about the grants and the different funding opportunities, and people respond, I can't get any help. I can't do this to start my business. You really don't want that business, because if nobody gives you any grants, or if nobody give you a loan to start your business up, and you basing your business dream on somebody else giving you money, your ass really don't damn want it. Because if you really want it, it doesn't matter how you're going to get the money regardless. You may go at a slower pace. You may start, where you got to put more and more steps into the mix to make everything happen. But if you really want to make something happen, you're going to make it happen, regardless who help you or not. That's when somebody really, really want it, right? And that's the God honest truth. But we're not always going to get assistance and help with what we want to do. So again, guys, look, I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. Again, I am Deonte Burden, Change Your Life. Listen, right now, again, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. I might repeat it or say something again. Remember, go to Changing Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burden. You can Google it. If you're looking at me on TikTok, the link to the in the bio section, you hit that link to go to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Close to 500 videos on the YouTube channel. Got a lot of great information where on the YouTube channel. We're really pivoting, changing lives to more of a Black fatherly advice channel. It's been more of a motivational, professional development. We're transitioning that over to more of a Black father advice channel. We're doing that because I do think it's needed. I not only am I Black, I've also been a father, but I think we have a lot of videos or a lot of information out on smaller kids. And I don't think you have a lot of people giving out advice with adult children, especially Black fathers. And I think the reason that is because people spend so much time saying what they're going to do with their kids. But then when that shit don't work, they don't want to talk about how that didn't damn work. And that's why I was talking about the whole thing with Master P. That thing, it sounded so great. I seen him. I seen video of Floyd Mayweather talking about generational wealth. Then I seen a video of Floyd a couple months ago talking about none of his boy getting in boxing because they smoke so much weed. And because I don't know if it's because they spoiled their kids, gave their kids everything so much early, and now they getting adults. The shit ain't turned out the way they want to be, but stuff happens. And you don't have to be a millionaire for that to happen, right? And so I want to have those kind of discussion in regards to, by far, I'm nowhere near a damn perfect parent, but I can be transparent enough as a parent to help other, especially Black men and Black fathers, to share, hey man, listen, this is what I did, this worked for me, and this is what I did, and I messed the hell up, and be able to share that. Because again, I don't think there are a lot of Black fathers sharing their mess ups with their children. Like, hey man, that didn't work for me. Or listen, my daughter 20-some years old, and we tried to do this and this didn't work. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody likes telling what they did with the little bitty kids and all that kind of stuff. And I, teach your kids this, teach your kids this. I have all these videos about, I got a trust for my child, and I got this kind of LLC for my child. And again, I'm on the other side. I've been pretty successful in life, and I'm on the other side with grown kids. And when you find out real quick when they grown, I don't give a damn what you have told them. You're going to find out they have a mind of their damn own. And all this business and saving shit that you had in your mind when they were little, they can give a damn about this stuff when they get older. No matter if you were very hands-on, no matter if you're very intelligent, no matter if you're very skillful in the delivery of the information to go in their head, when they get older, they're going to do what the hell they want to damn do, right? And that doesn't make them bad. That doesn't make them dumb. It just makes them not interested in what you had planned for them. And it happens all the time. And I think what happens is it hurts parents, especially our fathers, so much, they don't want to talk about it. We get in a hole. It should happen to me because we have what we want our children to do. We have idea of what we think they should do or what they should grow. We done made these sacrifices and stuff for our children. And then when they grow up, what we want to do and what they want to do, two whole different things. I think a lot of times parents aren't necessarily given the actual, especially Black fathers, the opportunity to be like, damn, man, that shit hurt me. That shit didn't work out the way I wanted to be. And so that's what we're moving, Changing Lives, to be that kind of forum with that. So again, go to Change Your Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burden. Again, if you're looking at us on TikTok, hit that link in the bio for Changing Lives. To go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to it. Same thing you're looking at on Instagram. If you're looking at us in, matter of fact, let me pull this up in one of the other forums, put it in here, so make sure I can have that for you guys. Bear with me 1 second. I hope everybody had a happy new year. I don't even know if I started off saying that with everybody, but this is, I think, my first live feed for the year. We'll change the lives. Let's see. We're gonna get that for you guys. Gonna put that in the actual chat for Facebook and YouTube, so everybody can have that. Give me 1 second. Put that in there. Booyah. Booyah. There we go. Well, listen, I'm going to get ready to wrap everything up. But again, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Change the Life, hosted by yours truly, Deonte Burden. We should be through with the transition with everything within the next couple of weeks. But again, that is what we're going to. It's going to be a Black Father advice channel and stuff. We're going to be able to be transparent, share information. I want to bring more Black fathers on where they can talk about, the challenges they have, in regards to life, raising kids, and doing all these particular things, so we can help each other grow and be better, Black men, black part, black habits of society, and most importantly, be black, good, and great Black fathers. Okay, however the hell that look, because again, everybody got, I want this, I want dad to do this and do that, and shit. I think people want a damn combination of Superman, He-Man, Cliff Huxtable, all kind of stuff to be their daddy, but you ain't got nothing but Owen, Earl, Joe, Ted. What you got is what you got. I think sometimes we appreciate what we have. We'll be a whole lot better on, better on with life. Okay, but listen, love you guys. Take it easy. I might do a live feed later on. We'll change the live. I know I got one with Mr. Short Dollar. Go to my other YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar, where we talk about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship. I'm gonna do a feed on top business, top risk for businesses in 2023. Gonna do that in probably the next couple hours. So be on the lookout for that. Take care of yourself, guys. Love you, and I'll talk with you soon. Peace.